drug-free Hord. So, as most of you know, Dr. Hord pours his heart and soul in the Akron Children's Hospital, and it's one of the main reasons that we're so involved in helping out. So, Jeff would like to tell you a little bit about what's going on, and then we have a pretty neat little story, as well as we're going to help raise some money here. Dr. Jeff Hord.
Thanks to all of you for being here for another great LOPen event. I can't thank Phil and Brad and the Jens and all of you who support this for many years enough, and for all that it does for our program. We've had great growth over certainly the 50 years of our history, and really even more so over the last 10 or 15 years. And that's really a tribute to the support of the community and also the great staff we have. That is now between almost 100 staff within the Showers Family Center. We have some of them here today. So I really, on their behalf, I thank you for all the things that you make possible. So again, one of the most important things about the LOPen event is the fact that it's a week-long event. It's the highlight of what we see at the hospital. So today, Jason and Mark drove down and visited with the kids on the floor. They did a concert in the lobby of our clinic. Tomorrow, Chef Roshni is going to go down and make ice cream sundaes for the kids. Lilian's going to go visit. It's a week-long event that really brightens many, many lives while they are here. So I thank all of you. I thank all of them. But it really is all about the patients that we're privileged to care for. And we have a couple of them here tonight. So you've already met our celebrity chef, Yanni, and she did a great job with the salads. She's been here for about 4:30, so she's been working like 3.5 hours on the salad. She just finished her therapy this past week. She's undergone a bone marrow transplant, and she is doing terrific, and is a great young lady and a budding chef, no doubt. And she's almost as tall as Chef Roshni. So, we have another one of our patients here who is going to speak to you a little bit tonight. Her name is Jackie. And Jackie, this is, I don't know, what our public speaking event this week at probably 4 or 5. During one of our proms to remember up at Cleveland, she got to meet, and the person who escorted her to prom was, we refer to as Delavadova. And they've become quite good friends, and in fact, over the last couple of weeks, she, with no provocation, received, I think, packages to her home for 3 different sets of playoff tickets as his guests. And this week they made Good Morning America and the ABC National News about the relationship that developed. So she's been on all the news stations, so this is all old hat to her, but she's going to say a few words that she's prepared in great detail, but she'll do just fine.
Studies show that each year around 13,500 children are diagnosed with cancer. About 35,000 children are currently in treatment for cancer right now. I am one of them. My name is Jackie Custer. I'm 17 years old and I have acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Going in with a swollen arm to find out it was cancer was just crazy. You never think that anything like that will ever happen to you until it does. I was diagnosed on June 5th of 2014. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I had gone in with a swollen arm, and when they took my blood, all the tests came back abnormal. At that moment, I knew something was wrong. I was sitting in the hospital bed with my parents right by my side, and a very nice doctor came in to give us the news. He told me that I had cancer. Right away, I knew I was going to beat it. I was very athletic, playing both basketball and softball, so I have always been a fighter. The only thing that bothered me was how my friends and family would take the news. They were also nervous, but also very supportive. Right away, I was transferred down to 5600 of Akron Children's Hospital. I'll admit, at first I was so scared because it was so big. When I was put into my room, my nurse came in right away to greet me, and she told me that my primary doctor would be Dr. Hord, who is the head of the oncology department. Dr. Hord came in and told me that everything was going to be okay and my cancer is very, very treatable. After hearing that, I was very relieved. From that moment on, I was in the hospital for a few weeks because they started chemotherapy right away. After getting out of the hospital, I had to immediately come right back in because I was very dehydrated. They took me to the ICU where they gave me lots of fluid. So I had to stay in the hospital for about another week. It was the summer of my sophomore year, and I was about to be a junior, and I was playing basketball at the time, so it was very hard for me to do those normal things. But Dr. Hord allowed me to still hang around the basketball team, and they would always come visit me in those long stays at the hospital. For a while, I thought I was on the upside until the night of July 18th. That night, that night, my basketball team had a huge fundraiser for me, so I was able to go, but when I got home, I was having trouble walking, and I was slurring my speech. My parents took me to the ER, and I was immediately transferred to the ICU for my second time. I really don't remember that much about the next few days, but for a while I couldn't talk or even move. I then had found out I had a stroke. I had a reaction to some of the chemotherapy which caused the stroke. I was told this was very rare, so I was put down as a case study. I was then told later that I was almost put on ventilators because my body was just shutting down and I could barely breathe. To me, that is crazy because then I may not even be alive today. After the stroke, I was in the hospital for about a month and a half. When I was released, I got home and my leg was so swollen, so of course we had to go back into the hospital when then they told me I had developed a blood clot. The blood clot was from my left abdomen down to my ankle, and the stroke had affected my right side. So ever since then, I have been seeing a speech, occupational, and physical therapist. I have also had many infections which caused me to be in the hospital a lot. In this past year, I feel like I have been in the hospital more times than I have been home. I consider the hospital, especially the 5th floor, my home away from home. The doctors and nurses are like my second family, and I am very fortunate to have met such great people. I am also very fortunate to have met so many new friends who are going through the same battle as me. These are all the bracelets that I have who are other kids fighting in the battle along with Ayani alongside with me. There are also 2 very special people who lost the battle who I miss very much, but I know they are looking down on all of us and hoping we win the fight. Right now, I am still receiving chemo, but only once a month until September of 2016, so a little over a year. But this last year has had a lot of downs, but also a ton of ups too. Dr. Hord has allowed me to go to my junior homecoming, and I am also a very big fan of the Cavs, so I was able to go to a Cavs game back in October where I had floor seats, and that day I was able to meet LeBron James, and he gave me his jersey right off his back. And Yanni here also got to meet LeBron James, so we share that in common. I was also allowed to go to all of my basketball games and sit on the bench right next to my teammates. Dr. Hord also allowed me to go back to school in March. I was able to go to a prom to remember where I had met Matthew Dellavedova, and we have been friends ever since. He has gotten me tickets to a few playoff games, and I was lucky enough to go to their last game. Over the past few weeks, I have been in newspapers, on radio stations, and even the news.
And the LOPen, yeah.
The what? She said the what?
You have to speak at the LOPen. That's what that she said what she said.
But I couldn't have done any of this without the support of my friends, family, doctors, and nurses. Cancer sucks, but I am proof that there's always a good that comes out of it. So I just want to give a huge thank you to all the doctors and nurses of Akron Children's 5600th floor, especially Dr. Hord, who basically saved my life. Also, thank you all for coming out to support Akron Children's. Kids like me and Ayani, we really appreciate it. And shout out to Beth, Denise, Kelly, Sarah, and Rosemary.
So that's two great examples of what tonight is really all about, in addition to having a little fun on the side. And there's been so much that we've been able to do with the LOPen dollars up to this point. We have the LOPen Teen Lounge on the inpatient unit, which helps kind of brighten the day of those patients that are there hospitalized and to get their minds off of what drudgery they do have to go through. As I was listening to her story, I was beginning to feel like I was like a prison warden. He allowed me to do this. He allowed me to do that. And in addition, we use funds to have a school teacher there to help them with their schoolwork while they are in the hospital. We've used it for so many other things, gas cards to help people get back and forth from the hospital, to support food vouchers when they're there. So there's been a great deal of good that has come from the LOPen, and I know I am extremely grateful to all of you, and particularly to Brad, Phil, Jen, and all of you. Tonight, I think, of course we need money. Currently in our program alone, we utilize about $750,000 a year of donations just to support our operations. And really, Akron Children's is known for family-centered care, and that doesn't always come at an inexpensive price. So one of the things that we are looking forward to doing over the next year, about half of our patients are over the age of 10, so they really are teenagers, and about a half are like Yanni and are younger. But we are going to have some space open up in our clinic because the infusion center is able to move out into another space. And we'd really like to create in that area, we're going to start working on an adolescent and young adult program. And in that infusion center area, we would like to have kind of a treatment area that's specific for just teens. A number of other programs have done similar things. So what we're going to ask for tonight are bids, and they're going to tell you how to do that. But we would like, as part of that, to have like a video wall where there'll be multiple screens. This looks like going to BW3s only at the clinic, so you can watch 14 games or your cartoons or whatever it is you want to do while you're there getting your infusions and your chemotherapy or whatever transfusions that are going on. So that's what we're going to add. There will be the LOPen wall in the teen treatment area. Yes, the LOPen, where Jackie Custer spoke this evening. So that's our Fund a Need project for this evening.
So what we're going to do, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. That's why we're here. So this one's going to be real easy. We're not going to pick on one person for this. We're going to pick on all of you. So we have some spotters. Anyone who would like to make a donation to help us fund these great programs right now, if you just put your hand up and keep it up, and any amount,